Now let's take a closer look at your competition room. So I'm here on the ballot and I'm going to click Live Video Room. Here, another tab is going to open with that live video room. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create those two separate tabs that I was talking about. And it's loading. So while it loads, I'm going to show you how I can fit two separate tabs. On my screen, it is a little tight, so that notepad does come in very handy. Okay, so it would look like this. So you can have your feedback form open. And you can have the ballot open here. Sorry. There we go. You can have the ballot open and then you can see your competitors here. And so that's one of the options. But because I'm just focusing on 8x8, we're going to maximize that screen so that way I could walk you through this program. So as we can see, we have our competitors already in the room, which is awesome. And the first thing I'm going to do as a judge is I'm going to check the chat box. And so when I check the chat box, I'm looking to see if any of the competitors have notified me that they're double entered. And so that's the first thing you want to do as a judge to make sure that if all of the competitors aren't in the round, they might have already signed in. And so as we can see, Danny actually went ahead and told me he's double entered. And so I want to check in with Danny to make sure that he has either come from his previous round or he might have to leave to go to a round. So I'm going to check in as the round is going on, just like as I would if it were face-to-face. So let's break down 8x8. The first thing we want to look at is this middle bottom screen. So we're going to start here with the microphone. The microphone is where you can go ahead and silence yourself, or you can click it to not silence. So if I click it, it's going to look like that, and that's going to allow everyone to see that I'm muted, and so that way they won't be able to hear what I'm saying. That's good to have just in case you are there before the round and you want to go ahead and turn off your microphone before the round starts, as well as your video. My video won't be turned on for this portion because of the screencast-o-matic that's happening. And so the other thing I want to show you is the end button, the leave. That's how you're going to end the round. So as soon as the round is over, you're going to hit that red button and continue to fill out your ballot. Next to that is the camera. And as mentioned, you can go ahead and turn that camera off before the round starts if you're hanging out in the room waiting for the competitors to arrive. I would also recommend that you keep the camera on when the round does start and give nonverbal feedback to competitors. And so the silence microphone button comes in handy for when competitors are speaking. So feel free to let the competitors in the room know about that button. They should be alerted, but remind them to silence themselves during the performances and give those nonverbals. Okay, I'm going to get these things out of the way here. Okay, so over to the left, this little hand is really awesome because a competitor might be having an issue during the round and they want to get your attention. Maybe they're not able to get their audio working or they're having a technical difficulty, so they might raise their hand. As you can see, a little hand popped up for Danny, and so Danny's trying to get my attention. And so I want to make sure and pay attention to that if they have a question. The next is the chat box. And as mentioned at the beginning, that's a great way to communicate with competitors, especially if it's in the middle of the round. I know it's not ideal to be distracted, but if something's going on, perhaps someone's really noisy on their end or something is going on in the background, you might want to alert a competitor to turn off their camera or turn off their microphone. You can alert individual competitors by clicking these three dots here. As you can see, as I hover over, you can send them a private message. You can also turn down their volume. So in case they don't end up silencing themselves, you can turn down the volume manually yourself by moving that dot there. Okay, so over to the right. As you can see right now, I have us in what's called toggle view. This is really awesome because you can see the competitors all at once, which is really great. It's really awesome as a competitor to see your audience giving you that nonverbal feedback. And so outside of toggle view is speaker view. So it's just one person at a time. So toggle view is really helpful. The last feature is this little eye right here. This eye is kind of a last resort. So if the audio is a little off or if the visuals aren't working, you can have competitors call in. So what you can do is you can actually copy and paste this number here. You can hit copy and put it in the chat window to let competitors know of this option. So I might say, hey Jedi, I can't hear you. Try this. And then I'd send them that number. And so that's a great way of communicating with people. All right, so that sums up for 8x8. So the next video, I'm going to show you how to submit your ballot. So what you do after the round.